Good morning, ladies. Happy Saturday.
Good morning.
Good morning. Joke's on you.
Joke's
It's Saturday
on
on the
Yeah,
dive.
you're stuck with us today because Marcus and Dennis are off today. Marcus had a little jaw work done, and hopefully in the good way, and Dennis is out of town. So you can put up with us today. Hi, everybody. Hey, Al. Hi there, Melissa. Good to see you. It's always great to see our regulars in here because they keep us honest, if not on track. Or not. Anyway.
Today we're helping with raccoon advice.
Raccoon advice. Is there a raccoon cream with natural Saskatchewan sealskin bindings, or is that too old in pop culture?
I'm gonna have to look in my Canadian government issued Living in the North Frontier book.
Well, if anybody,
circa 1943.
Shit, if anybody would know, you would know. And Super Day's dead, so we can't. Rest in peace, Dev. We can't ask him.
It's true.
That's where
I'm suggesting a good vinegar, Dr. Bronner, some Epsom salt. Let it dry in layers.
Is that for my groin or my armpits?
Either if you choose. However, I'm going to keep the trash bandits out for Dear Al in Vermont.
Yeah. Okay. Well, do that. Shanda, what's going on with you today? You're awful quiet.
I don't think I'm awake yet is my issue.
Oh, well,
but I'll get there.
We'll get there. Have some coffee.
Yeah, I'm pounding the coffee. Joey's coffee.
In honor of Father's Day, Amber, we can blame this on Amber. We have
my fault.
We have this tribute to fathers around the world. So everybody get your barf bags out.
This is getting you back for yesterday, Oz.
Oh, okay. Get me back for this. This is payback, man.
You're watching Channel 53, Public Access TV of Central Illinois.
Oh, shit.
Hi, welcome to Fathers and Sons, the show that teaches and discusses how positive communication between fathers and sons can make this special relationship between two men even better. I'm Peter Fleck, and this is my dad, Gary. There's no reason why sensitivity and warmth can't be key ingredients between fathers and sons. That's why we're here today on Fathers and Sons. Isn't that right, Dad?
You could really cut that intro in half. Boy, it's way too long.
Okay, here we go again. All right. It's a bit long, you're right.
You don't have to tell me when I'm right. I know when I'm right.
Oh, how things never change. They stay the same and they never change. What the hell are you trying to do? That's worse than a broken glass enema. What?
Father's Day.
Oh, my God in heaven. Oh, geez. Well, happy Father's Day. Even you, Dandy Don. We hope you enjoy your rally today. Shanda, there is a rally going on right now, isn't there?
Well, I think that it's leading up to the rally. I don't know what time his rally actually starts, but yes, we know Trump is doing his clandemic down there in Tulsa.
Oh, the clandemic. Is that what they call it? The clandemic? Where did that originate from? Who came up with that one?
Oh, I'm not sure who came up with it, but it's all over Facebook and social media. But we know that they're having to sign NDAs to get into, or, waivers saying that they will not sue the government or Trump if they get sick.
Really? That's the case, huh? That's so an NDA that's a non-disclosure act?
I don't know if it's NDAs, but they're signing some kind of waiver to get in the door.
Oh, a waiver.
I'm curious if their insurance companies get a copy of that or their employers.
Yeah. So do no harm. I used to have that on a clipboard when people would come out and play softball for my company team. If you get hurt out here, don't sue the company, please. And sure, no problem. We're out here to have a good time. So I guess that's
will their company employed health insurance cover it? Or can they use that as a denial also?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
that's a good point, Amber.
Until the helium tank falls over and somebody tries to catch it. That's the big problem. And that seriously did happen to one of our employees, and I felt so horrible. But she had to fight for years to get compensated for medical and everything else. So that tells you how those company insurance plans work out for you, right? Whereas National Universal Healthcare, Medicare for All would have taken care of virtually the whole thing. So don't give me any bullshit about employer-based healthcare, because it is bullshit. Anyway. Let's take a look. These are some of the individuals that were interviewed going into this Trump rally, and I heard they were setting up camp last Monday to get in there.
Can I jump in here? I want to point out the fact that The Tulsa mayor put in a curfew yesterday saying that no, nobody's allowed on the streets after a certain time because they didn't want the BLM protesters out there. But when it turned out that they were Trump supporters that were camping, waiting to go in, they ascended the curfew and said, "Oh, okay, now you guys can be out there."
Well, good. I'm glad they got that taken care of, and they didn't have to use. They didn't have to
Good
use.
to know people.
Yeah, no clubs and pepper spray. Right. It's all fine now. Okay.
Right.
All right. Just checking. Want to make sure.
I don't mind going into the arena with the pandemic and the spikes because that's the beautiful thing about our country. I know that I am fully taking on the risk of possibly encountering, or being exposed to it, but as an American, that's my right.
It doesn't worry me that much because I have my health, so I was never really worried about it in the first place.
If I think everyone just, keep some hand sanitizer around them, a little bit, and do this a little bit right here, I think it'd be all right. I think, and wear the mask.
Wear the mask.
Did they find the only ethnic people in the crowd to interview?
And young.
And
yeah, right.
Yeah, I'm glad that they got that all covered. Now here was one of the cartoons for the Trump rally, and it's a waiver. Did you sign the waiver with the little germs flying through the air and all those people going there? Aren't they over exaggerating, or is that the whole shot of the people walking into the thing? Which I'm thinking there's about 70 there. Do you guys have any idea what kind of numbers are down there in that mess?
I've heard lots of numbers. I heard that the arena only holds like 17,000, but I heard that like 800,000 RSVP'd to go. So who knows what the real numbers are? Trump likes to inflate his numbers. Look at his inaugural ball.
Yeah, his inaugural ball. That was something, and they had that picture of the front of the White House for his inauguration. That was pretty sparse, as I remember. So
exactly,
it
is Tulsa. I mean, it's not hard to find a bunch of people that'll turn out for him.
What's the significance of it being in Tulsa? I'm curious.
Well, Black Wall Street happened there. Of course, Juneteenth is when the slaves found out in Texas 2 years after the emancipation that they were free. But then you fast forward to 99 years ago, and a lynch mob literally burned a successful Black community to the ground and mass killed them. And our government has covered it up for almost 100 years.
And that's why they kind of objected to him having the rally on yesterday, and they moved it to today. Is that correct?
Exactly.
Oh, okay. That helps a lot. I just... Unbelievable. Well, let's have our Joe Biden moment here. Get it over.
Let's not forget the June 1st, 1921 massacre also in Tulsa.
In Tulsa. And that was on June 1st, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, it sucks, and it just keeps getting suckier. Biden's reportedly narrowed down his VP picks. Did you ladies hear about that?
Can we talk about David Dole's mustache?
Yeah, I think so. He's
sexy.
Yeah,
I
agree. I find this much more exhilarating than the VP pick. Honestly, if I get a vote today,
come on, you guys. It's all about sex with you two.
Anyway, talking about frickin' top cops.
Yeah, I know. And to David's credit, he is beautiful. I mean, he looks better than Don Johnson ever did in his prime. So
exactly, digging the mustache.
I think he stole Don Johnson's Highway in the background too.
I think he did too. It's like Miami.
We just got to get him a shirt. Maybe we can send him a little Corona care package.
Yeah, with all due respect, David, you have great opinions. You're not just another pretty face.
He's not just a pretty face.
He's not a pretty face, but he is a pretty face. Anyway, here we go. David Dole, he wants to weigh in on the top two VP picks, and I think it's kind of funny. It's like Val Demings and Kamala Harris, right? Okay, let's see what he's got to say.
Are added. Biden needs to listen to the people of Orlando and of Florida and elsewhere, not law enforcement at this time. So there's more here. Again, links are always going to be below the video. But you have here two choices where either way you're losing. I don't mean the election, but you're losing in terms of the future as a future leader of the Democratic Party. So, like, the choices that I want to see, obviously Joe Biden is not considering Nina Turner, Barbara Lee, I mean, Barbara Lee is one that...
Yeah, Barbara Lee, why not?
I think he would be able to at least envision, as opposed to Nina Turner, who I think he just would find would be someone who's going to challenge him too much, who obviously Biden doesn't want that. But Barbara Lee is also a good choice, also not being considered here. So to have the list come down to 2 cops, I mean, I guess I shouldn't be surprised, and I'm not really surprised. This is what the Democratic Party has done for years. It's all about symbolism. It's not about challenging the actual systems in place. It's all about, hey, if you got a black woman on the ticket, that's all that matters. Her record, what she's done, what she fights for, who cares? Will she fall in line? Will she continue this system of propping up corporate interests, propping up wealthy interests, of being just the lesser of two evils? Then great. That's all we care about. So,
and we've picked Vivian Lee.
You know, there's a big story behind that one too, with the Gone with the Wind, the Vivian Lee. So I will remember that at some point and have a story time. Anyway, yeah, I think David makes some pretty salient points here, ladies. What's your view on that, other than duh?
Do we actually think that the Biden campaign is even considering Nina Turner? I mean, I don't even know why that was mentioned, because it's not a possibility. Not in this dimension, not in this realm.
I find that as more pandering to the left.
No.
Which I'm a little frustrated about.
No, they would. The Dem Party would never pander to anybody. They're straight shooting sons of guns, right? No?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Anyway, thank you, pretty boy David Bedole, for that report. It's kind of like, yeah, we get it. We're going to move into some really serious stuff here. And when I say serious, I mean serious. I mean, this is, you brought this to the table, and Amber, your expertise is warranted here as well. This is about fluoride.
Yeah, so right now there is a major lawsuit. I've talked about it a couple of times this week about fluoride. We're, trying to, right now it's law that they have to put fluoride in the water in a lot of places. And we're trying to prove that fluoride causes harm. It does make people sick. It is hurting certain people in, there's some, God, my brain's not awake this morning, but so basically there's this lawsuit, and we're fighting the EPA, and the EPA's expert witness is being paid $150,000. This woman has a record of supporting Monsanto and glyphosate, and even her own peers can't stand her. And
Monsanto.
Derek Rose is doing an amazing job of covering this story. He's the only one covering it. There is no mainstream that are covering it. And you can catch him on The Last Vagabond. The Last Vagabond's doing a great deep dive into this. And then, of course, this is Jason Burmis. And, I'm not judging the source, but this is a good interview.
Yeah, this is a good interview, and it's a little bit of an extended clip. It's 1 more minute than our average, so please bear with us, because it is a good interview.
And here's what the verdict was. There's never all that important information in between, like the fact that the U.S. government hired scientists who are themselves employed by a company called Exponent Incorporated, which I really highly recommend others diving deep into. I'm just now starting to dig into that web of who is Exponent Incorporated. You look into the history of them, and they basically have scientists that some of the witnesses on the plaintiff side, the Fluoride Action Network side, Dr. Granjan, he said that they view these as rent-to-white coats, that, the other scientists don't like them because they know that they're basically for hire. And Exponent is one of these giant firms that... So you have the Trump administration, EPA, trying to fight this lawsuit. So they hire Exponent Incorporated to provide some experts to come, testify in the court of law and argue their defense. And Dr. Ellen Chang is one of these, which she has a whole history of working with Exponent to defend Syngenta, which is, of course, biotech company similar to Monsanto, working for Monsanto themselves, Dow Chemical, American Petroleum Institute, American Chemical, organization, all these different oligarchy, I guess you could say, that are involved in biotechs, involved in food and water, et cetera. So she has gone into court over the past few years, dozens of times, and also been hired to conduct studies. And as you said, one of her studies basically try to downplay the connections between cancer and glyphosate, which is, of course, Monsanto Bayer's Roundup. And her work on for Monsanto was in fact called out. As I put in the article, there was one peer reviewer of a study that she did, which was again funded by this Exponent Incorporated law firm, that said that her review on glyphosate, quote, devolved into a laundry list of every possible cause of bias. So she's been called out clearly for her work before. And to clarify,
and that's the cutoff point. So I know, Amber, you disagree with that 100%, right?
No, I just filled up my water from the local spring that has passed its water quality tests for over 100 years. I would never drink tap water.
Yeah.
No,
he does a great job. I just want to call attention to his work and what he's doing. I see in the chat, some of you guys have been following Derek for many years. He has the Conscious Resistant channel on YouTube. Check him out. He's very even-handed. He doesn't come in with bias. He actually does the work. So just follow what's going on.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, this is just a continuing cycle of companies and their bullshit science, bullshit numbers that they use to fund their corporate propaganda. And if you start looking at a lot of these lawsuits, you start looking into a lot of these so-called independent scientists that are paid by the companies. This is exactly what's been happening at the EPA for the last 25 plus years or more. And it's just gone rampant. And these companies are insane. There was people being bugged and followed at the Monsanto trials that happened in San Francisco. Yeah, I mean, it's been insane. And, all these corporate companies are ponying up big money, $100 million a year to keep them on retainer.
Yeah.
When these companies,
we know the.
Yeah. Well,
sorry, guys, go ahead.
No, it's these billion-dollar companies. So $100 million. When you say multi-billion-dollar companies, that's like pocket change to do this sort of thing, right? Shanda, over to you. Go ahead.
We just know that these companies have been poisoning us, poisoning our water, poisoning our food, poisoning our soil, poisoning our air for many, many years. Dow Chemical, I mean, if we actually knew the amount of deaths that came from what they have done, and so many other companies but my question is, we know that the judges like to side with the corporations over and over. Are we even getting a fair shot at this trial or not? The optics look good that we're getting a fair trial, but who knows?
So the optics look good, and they also, at least it's, there's some good judges left, barely.
Barely.
I'd like to say there's barely some good judges left. But, the reality, too, is these companies would rather find a market for their toxic products than properly dispose of them, because it would cost them, not only would it cost them a lot of money, but they wouldn't be able to profit from it. So whenever they can reuse a toxic byproduct from any process, they're going to find a market for it. And that's why every chemical company has a pharmaceutical company, and every pharmaceutical company has an oil and gas company and vested interests in healthcare and the medical field, because they want to continue the profit cycle.
Yeah.
When you're sick and you're exposed to toxins, you're more sick, and they just keep pulling the money in.
It's a nuclear byproduct, so we don't know what to do with it. I know. Let's use it as rat poison, heart medicine, and toothpaste. Oh, let's put it in everybody's water.
So they
the pineal gland will love that.
Right? Look into fluoride if you have it, man. There's some information out there that'll just blow your mind.
You mentioned pineal gland there. That caught my attention because I have a pineal gland cyst. So are you saying that every time I use the fluoridated mouthwash in my water pick that I'm trying to grow my cyst in my pineal gland?
And harden it.
Calcifying it. You're hardening it.
I'm hardening it. So what would you recommend? That I use hydrogen peroxide or what?
Well, which also probably has water in it.
So So what do I?
But you can. I mean, I use a water filter, and I get water from the spring for drinking water, and I have filters on my showers. I have so
fluoride-free toothpaste, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And throw the goddamn mouthwash away. Don't dump it in the water. But how are you going to get rid of it?
Or buy the expensive stuff and use less.
Buy the
Or you
Or make
use
your
baking
own.
soda, baking soda, olive oil. There's lots of things you can use on your teeth that's
Coconut
healthy.
pulling.
God, we're so
Yeah.
fucked. Yeah, I just
Coconut
found
oil.
out about this pineal cyst a couple of years ago, and I go into Costco, and there's pallets of this fluoride mouthwash there. It's a 3-pack. They're on sale. They're a really good deal. So, so just buy that poison, and why don't I just inject it straight into my pineal gland?
Right.
Okay.
Isn't that your critical thinking too?
Yeah,
Doesn't
well,
your
I don't-
critical
I don't-
thinking come
And
from
it's
pineal?
your photoregulation for
Yeah,
melatonin.
yeah, waking up in
and
the
your
morning.
circadian rhythm. And it is a very small, tiny part of our brain.
Okay.
Very, very important.
Okay. Again, a disclaimer: we're not doctors or scientists or anything else, but I think common sense will trump. Ooh, goddamn!
This is just biology.
This is biology. So chuck the bullshit, check the toothpaste, and move along. Right.
Eat organic.
So what you just described to me, it felt like these corporations, these multinational corporations, these billion-trillion-dollar corporations, they have their own chain of custody as far as what happens with their chemical byproducts, what happens with their money as far as funding and propaganda and everything else. So what does the public in the world, much less America, have in their chain of command? Nothing? Nothing.
Truth. We have the truth.
We have the truth. So we're gonna go vote, and that vote's gonna be taken away. So that's my argument. And you see what I'm getting at, ladies. I don't want to just throw despair out to anybody that's watching this, but Jesus Christ, what do we have left anymore in our quiver? And I'll go back to what Shanda said. We have the streets. That's all we've got, because the voting process is rigged, gerrymandered, and whatever you want to call it. What is that? I want some answers. I don't want to just, piss everybody off and depress everybody. What can we do as a people against this stuff? So, Amber, you go first.
Well, you can support Fluoride Action Network. You can remove it from your own family. You can work on continuing to educate your friends and neighbors. You can become a spokesperson, and you can go to momsacrossamerica.com or .org and find all of the information that would give you abilities to host information sessions, have different, healthy medical products that can help you detox from these chemicals. They're trying to spread this poison out in so many forms in so many ways so that you can't trace it back to one source. If the fluoride's in all the drinking water, how are you going to prove that? And what's happening is it's the own companies unraveling in these lawsuits and in the courtrooms, showing their corporate malfeasance. And that is what is causing the pushback from the public. And the courts are supporting that because it's so outrageously bold and just corrupt. It's so corrupted. And that's what we saw. Like in the Monsanto lawsuit, he got $289 million. I think only 2 million of that was for basically you're going to die in life's wages. The largest chunk of that money was corporate malfeasance. So that tells you the level that they are willing to go to get away with these crimes. I mean, you start doing Freedom of Information Act requests, you start seeing who left what company and who emailed. I mean, they're literally emailing the companies saying, how do we proceed in getting this passed? What studies they're asking them for the research, because we quit funding independent research in the United States years ago. And we also let the companies come in and corrupt our educational systems. So all the studies being done at your educational systems are fully corporate funded. And so it's just really ruined our ability to see through that piece. But there's an email chain, there is business deals, there's handshakes going on. And over enough period of time, you can see the damage to that. And so I can't support them enough. You want a little heartwarming story about fluoride, search Soda Springs, Idaho, or you can search the Mosaic plant in Florida if you want to learn why we had toxic green, algae outbreaks and mass sea die-off. You can go straight back to phosphate mining, which plays right into all of this.
And if you think it's not going to happen to you, it already has, and it is continuing to do that until we do something about it. Shanda, you want to weigh in on this before I take a sloppily?
Amber wrapped it up beautifully of how you can get involved. You know, it takes us, the everyday people, going to our city council and demanding that they don't put fluoride in our water. It takes us supporting these action networks that are trying to expose what these companies are doing. And it literally takes us getting in the streets. Like I always say, you know, we have to be out there with the no fluoride signs. We have to be the ones protesting and saying enough. And it's not going to change how we change it.
And
and the more people you tell, and you change it by voting. You change it by voting with every penny you spent. Every time a barcode goes across one of those scanners, you're voting for or against a system.
So and this is what I want to sidetrack here a little bit. Jilly was asking me about Joey's coffee, about if it was the right kind from the non-slavery fair trade coffee, shade down, eco-sourced. Honestly, Jilly, we try. And honestly, I don't think all of it is, but we don't have, because of the different varieties and everything else, we vet as best we can. But that goes back, and I'll ask you and everybody else in here, do you ever buy anything from Amazon? And a lot of you don't. And some of you will say, I have to because it's the only place in town. I'm not making excuses. This is just the reality. I've got an Amazon Prime account. Do I use it? Yeah, I use it because I am in the income bracket of poverty level. You know, truly, I am. And if I didn't have what I had now, I'd be living under a bridge with my sisters and brothers out there. Do I take what I have, my privilege at the level I have, to do things to help those sisters and brothers that are living under the bridge? To help you who are in here by promoting social media? Yes, I do. Am I faulted in my approach? Yes, I am. So I have disclosed everything, but I'm going to do the best, as are these ladies here and anybody, we hope, that comes on The Dive or any of the other shows at Uphill Media, to do the best they can. John Ellis, Laura Livengood, they're doing the best they can with what they have. So again, I'm not going to play gotcha with anybody, and I know, Jelly, you weren't playing gotcha with me. You were just asking me a straight question. I gave you a straight answer. So that's where I'm at, and I thank you for that, because again, I reiterate, hi Barbara, all of us that come here, we want to be held to account for what we say. If we're wrong, we want to be told that, and we want to be, we want to bring you to the platform to say that. Now, I want to shoot into this money stream. Okay, the money stream that's going, the propaganda that's going into propagandizing us, that's been happening since birth. Now, where is the BLM, the Black Lives Matter money going? And how is that going? Which they're part of this corporate cabal that's ruining and destroying our planet and our people. So, Shanda, do you want to preface this before I play it real quick, the funding to the Dems?
Right. So we have been against Act Blue for many, many years. We know that, that money gets co-opted into the Democratic Party and the Democratic funders, who they are. So let's just, think about, Amazon's fundraising for BLM right now. And I'm not saying don't fundraise for BLM, but follow the money, right? This is what we've been trying to do. Follow the money. And so if we start following the money, it's pretty sad where it's going.
And tell me when to cut this, Shanna, because I don't remember. Now, we have this is going to have a reference to George Soros in here, I think. But,
yeah, this is a right-wing talking point, because, of course, the left is not going to call itself out. Of course, I don't think that everything that's going on is funded by Soros. But if you do pay attention, Soros does fund a lot of stuff on the left. So, of course, they're going to call this out. But I don't think
Soros and we'll get into that after the clip a little bit.
And especially by seeing the
So
BS.
Recently there's been some troubling news coming out of the Black Lives Matter movement. And it is that when you decide to donate to them, you go to their website, you end up donating to Act Blue.
And Act Blue Charities is the one running this donation. What is Act Blue? Act Blue is a Democratic platform that funds Democratic candidates, organizations, and nonprofit organizations. So these people only support Democrats.
Somebody here says, you guys, Democrats quite literally used George Floyd's death to emergency fundraise for Joe Biden's campaign, and that it was all just a scam.
Bernie Sanders took money from them. AOC.
I can't take too much of this guy, but I think I think we got the point, right?
It's called us donating, sir.
Yeah.
They're not giving money to them.
Yeah, I you know, this is Act Blue. I've always been hedgy about. You know, I rather donate directly to the candidates when I could have, which I can't. I think I gave Bernie Sanders $30 because that's all my budget would afford. But we worked hard for him. You know, many of the people here did, and we just, you know, he bent the knee. We're dead. So go ahead.
I can tell you why something like Act Blue works as a candidate. It's because it has all of the bells and whistles needed to file your financial reports without having to have 8 systems or hire an accountant.
So you're pigeonholed into using it as a candidate for the Democrats.
Thus, the Amazoning of contributions. Exactly. It's been Amazon, just like the whole goddamn country has Amazon. As I said the other day, I was trying to find a mouse and keyboard for one of our showrunners. Every site that I went to, you know, best reviews on keyboards, they linked right back to Amazon. It took me a half hour just to find someplace, and it ultimately was Fry's in California, and they failed. They couldn't even get it shipped out without it being defective. So I think all of this together, bottom line for me, you know, Act Blue, you're just screwed. You're Amazoned into using them. But I want to remind you, remember who was behind the Invisibles groups? It was John Podesta and what's his name? Greaseball. David Brock. I mean, those guys are, you know, they're on the level of Rahm Emanuel. They're the ones that rigged the 2016 election when corroborating with W. Wasserman Schultz. So we're just screwed other than walking up to a candidate and handing them a check for a donation or working for them, which I suggest is the best route. Would you ladies agree, working for them? If you can't donate money, and I don't want to take away from donating to like Amber. She's running for city council in where, Amber?
County Council, Snohomish County, Washington.
Snohomish County, and we need people.
And I have an Act Blue account.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah. What's your website to your Act Blue?
It is voteamberking.com
for Act Blue.
You know, the point of this clip is you have, for me, and I bring some Republican right-wing stuff to this show, as some of you may know, but I think you have to have a well-rounded view to know what's really happening in the world. And you can't do that if you just stay in an echo chamber on the left or the far left. And so sometimes you have to subject yourself to these far right, you know, BS. I don't take all the Soros crap in, you know, I follow the money. I absolutely
it does follow the money. So yeah, and I apologize. It's just I see this.
I get it.
I see this, and it just gives me a goddamn headache because it's one more thing on my plate that I got to filter through. But again, with Sagar and Jetty on Crystal Ball, I mean, I went around with their thing this weekend about Sagar's so privileged, and he has been from birth, so he has that view. It's a club, baby, and I'm not in it. So Sagar, you're not speaking to my issues. And for that matter, Crystal probably isn't either, but at least they bring a wider perspective to politics and news these days. So that's why I credit them. No one's a god, obviously. So, you know, that's where we're at.
But my final question on this would be, how much of the money that you donate does Act Blue and corporations actually pocket?
Is it 3%, Amber?
Like 3%. But that, I mean, here's the deal. Any card processing is 3%.
Right.
Yeah.
GoFundMe, it doesn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't, you know. Amazon's taking their 3%. That's for damn sure. You know, so it's like, that's just kind of the cost of doing business in my eyes. If I was giving them 5%, I might change my tune, you know. Well, so yeah, I'm okay with 3%, but not having to hire, you know, outside accounting team to file the paperwork correctly is definitely worth that.
Yeah, and some of these like subscriptions, even Patreon, they take their slice. They all take their slice because everybody's got to, you know, they're trying to make a living. I see that. Let me see.
Once we end corporate baking, we can revisit this.
Oh yeah,
let's saying eBay.
Yeah, eBay. Yeah, eBay. Remember who ran in 2016 from eBay? That CEO,
Christine.
She was a real treat. She was a right winger from hell, wasn't she? You know, she's a bootstraps type of person worth how many millions of dollars, and she's running for president. I mean, okay, whatever. So that's the privileged again. Now we're gonna go off on something that
Meg Whitman. That was
Meg Whitman. Meg.
Yeah,
hey, Meg.
that's
Meg.
right.
Is that like Roberta from Nevada? Is the Democratic Meg
Oh,
Whitman?
and guess who she's on the board of?
Monsanto?
Procter and Gamble.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Back to our fluoride. See, it all just ties in.
It all ties in.
Oh my God. Let's get weird here.
Cheeseman's here.
Hey, the big cheese. What's up? Capitalism,
Father's
baby.
Day.
Happy Father's Day, Father Brian. Brian, you've got a couple of children out there. I hope you're having fun with them.
And just a side note too, Whitman supported Clinton in 2016.
Well, of course she
What the
did.
hell is that?
Being the good woman.
Is that like the Hydra with 3 heads, or is that 8 heads, or whatever? Anyway,
That's prophecy.
It's a club, baby, and oh God, you got to love that Procter and Gamble symbol if you want to really get into satanic stuff. People love that thing. It's the moon and the stars and whatever. I don't know. So let's since I'm kind of segued into this, I've been interested in the Mandela Effect. Shanda, you want to talk to us a little bit before we run
Okay,
this?
so as some of you may know, I introduced Oz to the Mandela Effect earlier this week. I'm shocked
explains
you've
it all.
never heard of it.
I haven't.
So this is a cute little breakdown of what the Mandela Effect is. And then when we come out, I've got some great examples for you guys.
Okay, yeah, this is still baking my brain. I just love it because it explains everything.
Man, I sure do get a lot of mail from physics fans. Let's see what today's haul is, shall we, Albert? We got another one about the Mandela Effect. This is just getting out of hand. What? You don't remember the Mandela Effect? The Nelson Mandela one? You don't, huh? Okay, well, the Mandela Effect is this pretty crazy idea that pops up from time to time. The name comes from Nelson Mandela, who was a political activist in Africa. He fought against the horrible apartheid system in South Africa and was incarcerated from the 60s to 1990. Some people claim to remember him dying in prison in the 1980s, when in reality, he was released from prison, helped overturn apartheid, and went on to be the president of South Africa for 5 years. He eventually died in 2013. It seems that some people combine their fuzzy and obviously unreliable memories of Mandela's death in the 1980s with his subsequent release and presidency and somehow conclude that we're somehow sliding between parallel universes. Can you believe that, Albert? These people have a variety of ideas about how the transfer between parallel universes occurs, from some sort of natural phenomena to it being caused by the Large Hadron Collider in Europe. Crazy, huh? And that's not the only example people cite. People remember the name of the Berenstain Bear books, that's with an AIN, as once being Berenstain Bears, that's with an EIN. Or a lot of people will swear that in the original version of the Star Wars movie, The Empire Strikes Back, that Darth Vader said, "Luke, I am your father," when what he really said was, "No, I am your father." There are tons and tons of claims like those that you can find on the internet if you want. It's really quite depressing. And Albert, this is just obviously silly. I mean, even if we were actually sliding between parallel universes, and of course we're not, how is it that our memories could survive the change? I mean, memories are preserved in the brain, and those memories would change as we shifted from one universe to the other.
And then there are a few people who claim that our bodies are getting transported to other universes where things were always different. But thinking that that could happen without anyone noticing is really approaching tinfoil territory.
The best proof of this is the Berenstain Bear example. You could go to every library on the planet and ask people to dig out their books, and every one of them would be of the AIN version. People who believe in the Mandela Effect would say that this makes sense because either we moved into a world in which the spelling was always right, or because the change occurred everywhere in our universe. But if we move to another universe, we'd also move into one in which our brains always lived, in the AIN universe. And if the change occurred in our universe,
I love that dog.
you have to remember that books are made of molecules just like our brains. Unless the change was somehow confined to those just particular books, the changes to the brain atoms and the book atoms would have to be the same. We certainly would remember this differently. So this Mandela Effect thing is simply silly and just isn't true. I'm telling you, Albert, I wish people would just get over it and stop sending me email about it.
That was a little bit of a long clip, but to totally explain it, I mean, most of them are 10 minutes long, so that was the quickest one I could find. But I have some great examples of the Mandela Effect. Who remembers Sex and the City or Sex in the City?
Oh, shit. Ouch. In and in. In Sex in the City. Is it in?
No, it's Sex and the City.
Oh, for the love of God. Oh, my God. Ow, pain.
I have something to say about the Berenstein books.
I remember it as E.
I have copies of each.
Oh,
when I was going through my kid's book, there was copies of each. I separated the piles.
Oh, now you're...
No way.
Yeah,
so did our universe change it, or was there a printing issue?
Or somebody fucking with me. Yeah, I don't know.
I think somebody's fucking with you.
There is so many, like Jif, peanut butter. We call it Jiffy, right? It's never been called Jiffy, but some of us remember Jiffy being on the labeling. No, it's always been Jif. C-3PO, he had one leg that was black. He was not completely gold. Most people remember him as completely gold. Oscar Mayer with a A or Oscar Mayer with an E. It's always been an A. Let's see. Patrick Swayze. A lot of people don't think Patrick Swayze died.
Oh, shit.
What's some other good ones? We Are the Champions. The final lyrics of We Are the Champions of the World was never there. Even though we all remember We Are the Champions of the World.
Oh, shit. You're killing
Life
me.
is like a box of chocolates. Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
He never actually said that. He said something totally different. So you can go look these up. There's literally hundreds of thousands of them. Every year they do like breakdowns for what were the Mandela effects for this year.
Oh, fuck.
They're funny. They do trip with your brain because a lot of us do consciously remember one thing or another versus. So it's just kind of a fun, rabbit hole to go down.
Oh, my God. Amber, Mandela effects in your life besides your ex-husband and what?
Yeah, there's Mandela effects. There's butterfly effects. Lots of space. The space shuttles one, the Lindbergh baby.
Yeah.
The location of the Disney World castle.
Oh, shit. You guys are killing me. I'm going to go with Jilly and say.
Like, where do we live? Is this Smokey the Bear or Smokey Bear?
I'm going with Jilly.
Is it Smokey the Bear?
Fluoride causes the Mandela effect, Jilly. I'm with you. I mean, it's just fluoride. Yeah, Jilly. I think
or how about Hello, Clarice? Never in the movie.
Hello, Clarice. I like that. So much is good.
That was never in the movie.
It wasn't.
No.
It wasn't.
No.
Why do I remember it? And I got to say, the Jif peanut butter one, are they confusing it with Skippy, the peanut butter? Skippy?
Maybe
Jiffy?
that's our brains doing that.
It's jumping the tracks because, again, Oz's brain circuitry is burned up and rewired wrong and everything else. So
and I always like to remember, too, that like the wealth of human knowledge is like doubling and tripling in crazy amounts of time.
Right.
So... we're trying to keep track of a lot more.
No, that is a good point. The wealth of human knowledge since the computer age kicked in, right? I mean, I've gotten either smarter or dumber. I haven't figured out which one it is, but
well, and it's on that slippery slope. So it used to double. Like the first time it took 200,000 years for the wealth of knowledge to double, and now it happens like every 2 seconds or something insane.
Yeah.
And continually speeding up. So
Right.
All right.
We all have X amount of space in the brain pan.
The brain pan is a problem, and my brain pan is definitely made out of cardboard. So,
hopefully recycled.
God, I've been getting yelled at for self-deprecating. I don't mind self-deprecating because I think I have fun with myself. Do you really believe that, or do you mean it? Yeah, I believe it. Anyway, we've got, we want to talk a little bit about law enforcement these days. Shanda, did you give me this right-wing clip from Fox again? Another one?
Yes, I know. I brought you more. I brought you two Republican talking ones today. But theirs is the only place talking about this. Fox News is actually promoting that cops call in sick with the blue flu on the 4th of July. So the only reason I brought it is because they're the only ones talking about it.
Okay, now this is a short run, right? So I don't have to gouge my eyeballs out.
Don't let that racist white woman talk.
Okay, and is this Laura Ingraham?
Oh my God, yes.
Oh, God, get me a barf bucket, not a barf bag.
Resisting. We're getting all the top ones today, aren't we? Woo.
But elsewhere in the country,
sorry, everyone,
is getting exactly what
Joke's
it wants,
on you.
And cops are walking off the job. The Atlanta Police Department reported a higher than usual number of call-outs, in other words, a walkout, And NYPD officers are being encouraged, apparently, to call in sick on the 4th of July. That would be known as the blue flu, and it is spreading to other cities as well. Police in Philadelphia, Louisville, and Tallahassee are also considering walking out. And joining me now is a woman who has perhaps the best perspective.
That is the most racist white woman I've ever heard speak, I swear to God.
God, she looks mean. Doesn't she?
Right?
She looks
She's a total Karen.
Yeah,
She's an angry Karen.
Was that? Did she play Carrie's mom in the original movie Carrie with Sissy Spacek?
I think so. But the point is that Fox News is pushing this rhetoric to support police and walking off the job. You know, that was the point of this.
And if you haven't, I'm going to put a plug in. If you haven't seen the movie Bombshell, go watch it.
Oh yeah, that's with Charlize Theron and who else is in there? Nicole Kidman and who is? There's a third. Who's the third one? I want to make sure I get the bill.
She's a young thing. I don't know her name.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. Is it really worth my time? I just
I mean it. Yeah. I mean it's not going to blow your mind or anything.
Well, it wouldn't take much to blow my mind.
I personally wish they would have delved quite a bit deeper.
Like myself. What? More skin or what? Oh, Hollywood.
I mean, it's the Hollywood picture of how bad Fox News was. And
oh my
the sexist. Yeah. I mean, there's just so many more authentic ways they could have developed their characters. Let's just say.
Well, I've got a sexist clip we're going to go out with today, so I will. I will plead insanity again. But anyway, police. So we've talked about this week about the cops going on strike, and we got it right this week, Shanda.
Oz got it right, and that's why I brought this clip because Oz called this. He called me last Saturday and said we're going to start seeing police striking, walking off the job, and calling in sick. And he said by Tuesday, and guess what happened on Tuesday?
Yeah. Well,
I just want to know if they're going to wear a mask and if they're going to get a doctor's note.
I hope so. I hope so. For the love of God, I just I've got some imagery here that's disturbing, but I want to know if you guys think this is accurate by any way, shape, or form. What do you think? Is that what we've been seeing lately?
I would strike out the word union.
Okay, what would you put in its place? Mafia?
No, just police.
Just police. Just police. How about you, Shanda? What do you think?
/ mayor's office.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. I saw a couple of cartoons like this week that were quite disturbing. There was one. This little child was looking up at this policeman in this great big blown up uniform with shields and pepper spray and everything, and she goes, "Mommy, is there a man in there?" And I assumed that they were referring to the people that were taking their kids to these protests. So it's a scary thing. And I don't know, Shanda, Amber, what do you want to close this out with some comments or?
Well, we've the union here in Seattle has removed them, so. That story's done. Did it. They're out.
Oh, okay.
So I'm thrilled with that action. And I do believe in supporting as much labor movement as possible. And they know the right thing to do because they've been under the same circumstances as the rest of us, even mostly, not being as diverse as we'd like them to be.
So didn't the Labor Council eject them from their board? Is that what you're talking about?
They voted 2 days ago to, kick the police union out in Seattle.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So they're done here. So if we can make that spread like wildfire and also defund them at every level of militarization that we see in our communities. And this is not an anti-gun thing. I'm super okay with people having guns and rifles and, exercising their personal rights. I feel safer around citizens with guns than I do with police with guns.
Isn't it a sad testament on our society today? And I do not like to see guns show up at anything that I'm out in public. But again, I'm a gun owner as well. So.
I would rather have my veterans rather than my police force.
Exactly.
Because they know the true cost of war.
Yeah,
and we're not sugarcoating it as walking a beat and doing traffic.
Yeah, I think that's a discussion. We saw some veterans standing out in front of this Trump rally yesterday. He had one hand missing and he had a bullwhip out there with an American flag. Now, I don't want that.
I saw that.
I don't want that veteran out there sporting a gun. The veterans Servants of Peace, I want to give them a shout out, who I am a member of, an honorary member, because I've worked with them a great deal in the past, and I continue to support their efforts being anti-war, anti-aggression, because I think between them and Medea Benjamin, they are the heart and soul of our country, truly.
Absolutely.
And Code Pink and so on and so forth. So that I respect, and I'll help those groups out any day, any time, and support them any way I can. We got to give Uncle Joe a kiss or a sniff or whatever here real quick. I'm sorry, don't vomit in your mouth there, Amber. This is another cartoon we picked up. Trust me, I'll work for racial equality after 40 years of inaction there. I mean, what the fuck? Come on, Joe. Who are you kidding there, buddy? What do you ladies think on that? Who's first? Okay, Amber.
It's true. I mean, line the rest of them up. I would prefer that. Line the rest of the people who've been in Congress for 40 years who've done jack to support us.
Yeah, I agree. Shanda, your feeling on that?
It's I'm so burned out on Biden. Come on, we know who he is. We know his record. We have the receipts for 40 fucking years to show exactly how equal he is when it comes to racial equality, and I just can't even give it anymore.
Why not? I mean, it's ironic, and this brings us to we want to give No Joke, since they're out today. We want to give them a shout out because I know that Marcus and Dennis and the rest, myself included, and Shanda, I think you agree with this, Amber. We want to give them a shout out because this is the kind of cover card that No Joke would have, showing the irony of everything else. This is Nancy Pelosi. Who's Nancy Pelosi again? I keep forgetting. She's the ringmaster or Lord of the Rings?
Pipeline protector.
Pipeline protector. Now, who's that young lady right next to her? She's, I see the eyes. I don't quite connect it. I think
that little girl was the girl on the bus.
Oh, that was the girl on the bus. Where's her T-shirt? I just, I mean, really. So anyway, No Joke. This is for you. The irony, the satire, the optics of the political train wreck that's going on in this country. This to me is insulting on so many levels. I don't know if you ladies feel the same way, but this is the Democrats. This is Joe Biden. I'm going to have racial equity and all this crap. It's bullshit. All we need there is, instead of Nancy holding her hand up in the air like in a flippant way, she needs to be holding an ice cream bar or something, and that would make it perfect. So
a Chardonnay.
A Chardonnay. And where the hell did she not have an orange mask with a kente pattern on it and little sparkles that she could have worn? I mean,
she's missing her crystals.
Yeah, she's missing the Swarovski crystals in her mask there, or am I wrong? But I'm glad Kamala Harris was more modest and just used it looks like a diaper. I don't know, with some rubber bands
Maybe
around.
It's the wipey diaper.
It's the wipey diaper. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, ShamWow. I mean, God, ShamWow. Anyway, that was for No Joke. We miss you guys. We can't replace some of these great shows. No. We would never think so, but we knew that people were coming to the Saturday show, and we just wanted to offer you something, our bent on things from the United States rather than Germany, with Marcus and Dennis. But again, Shanda's becoming a regular on that show, and we invite any of our showrunners to check it out. And those who follow us, No Joke, Saturdays 10 a.m. It's in lieu of the Progressive Weekly Review that John and Laura and that team itself did before. So we're keeping it rolling. We're keeping it real. Now here's where Oz gets a little sexist. This is a tribute to Father's Day. Those of you who had good experience or not with your father, this was my burnt circuitry on Father's Day, and hopefully you will be able to connect with this a little bit. But it is a Father's Day tribute clip. Father, help us out.
entire childhood, the 80s. Candy camera.
All right. Oz, you sexist pig asshole. What does that have to do with Father's Day? Well, I told you my circuitry's burnt in my head, folks. I can't help it. Anyway.
It made us laugh.
Oh yeah, we got to have a laugh. I mean, for Christ's sake, and this is our goal with the Daily Dive. It is a dive, and I feel like we're in a dive bar, less the cigarette smoke. Thank God. I want to thank Amber and Shanda for your help. Rhonda is MIA. We're gonna have to send out somebody pretty soon.
We're going to send out a search party. I just want to give a shout out to David Crow, who's down there hanging out with the combo couch for a barbecue.
Yay!
I feel love.
Say hi to Fee and Pasta. Yay! And Johnny Sue. We love our Johnny Sue. Hey.
We love our fam and Callie.
Yeah. Oh, Al Walski, you're supporting independent media. Thank you. And don't worry, Al, that did not go into Oz's G-string. I assure you.
We're putting the rosary back on him.
Yeah, we're going to put the rosary back on him, so that's cool. Anyway, we had a lot of fun this morning. We wanted to bring you something fun and special, and we hope we accomplished that. And Dave Crow, thanks for the comment. Good coffee show with a lot of what did he say here? Good coffee show with a lot of magazine with great segues. Thanks. Hey. I'm glad you appreciate it. And if you guys like the format, give us a thumbs up on that. What do we got coming up? We got something coming up this afternoon. I think I got Joy coming on with Lindsey Boland, Democratic candidate, New York's 10th. So that's at 2 p.m. Pacific time. It was kind of like a surprise because it's hard getting these people nailed down for these interviews. So 2 p.m. today, Lindsey Boland, if you want to check in. What else we got going on? We got something going on tomorrow, don't we, Shanda?
Yeah, we have the Accidental Activists brunch like we always do on Sunday. But here's the thing. I've been so busy this week working on all these other shows that I haven't had any time to work on my Sunday show. So basically, we're just going to do a water cooler type of show where we're just going to gossip and talk shit. And I'm going to go through my Facebook and give you my opinion on things.
All right. Well, who's going to be there talking shit with you?
I don't know. I need some shit talkers.
Okay, shit talkers. Line up at the door. Amber, are you going to help us talk shit tomorrow?
I could probably do that.
Oh, thank God. We got to nail these people down while we have them in the room because it's like,
that's right.
I got to sleep in. I got to wake up. I got to have my coffee. I got to have my tofu. I got to have my fluoride. You know how that goes. Anyway.
Shada, I watched a great movie last night. If you guys need
What?
Little gory, little strange. It's called Arkansas.
Give it to me. Okay. Arkansas.
Jesus Christ.
I've been to Arkansas, it's a little scary. It's a little strange.
I got some relatives.
It fits all those profiles, but it's a good written movie. It's got some good actors in it. And
I've got a friend.
Netflix or Amazon?
Netflix.
So I don't have to use my Amazon Prime. My hypocrisy has no limit.
I've been trying not to.
Yeah. I have a hypocrisy Prime too.
Yeah. I can't help it. I've got a friend who just moved to Arkansas a couple of years ago, and she said, "You know what? All the stories are true." I go, "How's that?" She goes,
"They are
the cousins. They all look alike." I mean, it's like, oh my God in heaven. So anyway.
My favorite part about going to Arkansas, as soon as you hit the state line, it has a huge sign that says, "Home of President Bill Clinton. Please do 55." So you can do 80 miles an hour through Kansas and every other state in the plains, but as soon as you hit Arkansas, you better do 55 the whole way through the state.
Oh God. And make sure you don't have a lit cigar while you're going through the state. Anyway, we're going to go out with a song that's special to myself and Shanda, I'm sure. This is from Michelle Contreras, and this is kind of Shanda's theme song for her show, The Accidental Activists.
That's my girl.
That's our girl. And this was just done, yesterday or today, I think. She doesn't do much, but this is her father-in-law. And I think it's a great summertime song. I hope you enjoy it as much as I did. I know it's just a straight shooting song, and I just liked it. So thanks again, everybody in the chat. Dave, Brom, hey Brom, we need to get you on. Snork, Barbara, Jilly, Melissa, Al, Victoria, Jen. I missed somebody. I know I missed some. We had a lot of people in the chat today. So again, thanks guys. So we're going out with Summertime with Wim and Michelle. I think this is a great song, and I'll try and get the slide deck up so I can do the output credits. Bye, everybody.
Have a good weekend. Happy Father's Day.
See you tomorrow, guys.
summertime.